Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. This could be the first of two uploads today. There might be a podcast out later on today. If it doesn't go out today, the video with Josh will be uploaded tomorrow. Today we got three big Chelsea stories to talk about. One incoming potential story, an outgoing potential story, and is Marc Guiu returning, the young lad that we signed from Barcelona for $5 million after all of this season? Talking about Chelsea striker this, striker that. Is it going to be a £5 million 19-year-old from Barcelona that saves Chelsea's season this weekend at Nottingham Forest? He might be back in the squad, and if he is, would you start him? Let me know in the comments down below. Before we go any further, this is the final week of the season. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading every day. We've got the biggest game in years for Chelsea Football Club on Sunday away at Nottingham Forest. So make sure you subscribe, smack a like if you enjoy yourself. And this first piece of news is an interesting one regarding Anthony Gordon. You remember a few years ago when Frank Lampard was Chelsea manager, I believe, we were interested in signing Anthony Gordon before he went to Newcastle. He was at Everton. He was on about 10 grand a week. Then he got a 60 grand contract at Newcastle. Now he's £150,000 a week. But is he playing up to the standards that you would expect? Anthony Gordon, for me, is a bit of a deceiving footballer. Because as much as I do rate him when I see him play, this season's been incredibly stop-start. After the Euros last year, I thought he was going to kick on this season. But he really hasn't, to be quite honest. If we take a look at these numbers here too. 33 matches played this season, 6 goals, 5 assists. So he's basically been playing for Newcastle all season. I believe there was like a red card at some point during this season that kind of derailed him a little bit. When we take a look at the main numbers for Anthony Gordon, for someone that's going to cost about 80 million quid, these aren't really groundbreaking numbers whatsoever. He's obviously in the top 27% for progressive carries, but these really aren't major numbers that I would look at if we're talking about a player that we're going to spend 80 million quid on. And look, I know I've talked about Alejandro Garnacho on this channel, and I said that I don't want Chelsea to go for him. But if you compare Garnacho, who's got 6 goals, 2 assists this season, at least a lot of these metrics, he's getting shots away, touched in the attacking penalty area, progressive carries, like more than Anthony Gordon, and Garnacho is half the price. And look, I know what you're thinking, Benson, you can't flip-flop on this one, surely. I don't think Garnacho is a great Chelsea signing. I don't want to be buying players that are maybe players. I don't want the could be good, needs time to develop, let's see what happens. I don't want those players to come to Chelsea this summer. I say it in every video. We need to be going for ready-made talent, particularly if we do get the job done this weekend. And when I say get the job done, Champions League football next season, that's job done. We can look at this season, call it a success, definitely progress. We move on to next year, but then if you're in the Champions League, right, you've got to take it seriously. It's a competition where we're not going to be able to rest players on Thursday night. Every game is going to be significantly more difficult than what we've played in European football this year. So Anthony Gordon for 80 million quid, I still think he's going to become a better player than what we've seen of him so far at Newcastle. I think last year he got double figures goals and assists, and then this year it's kind of half for both goals and assists, having played around the same amount of minutes. So maybe it's a systemic thing. I don't think it is necessarily. I just don't think he's been on it this year as much as he was before. So 80 million, Newcastle, are you sure? Are you all right? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. The next story, Marc Guiu trained with the Chelsea team again today after 3-month absence, pushing to be included as striker option in CFC squad for Sunday's trip to Nottingham Forest. There's a big part of me that's excited about this because when I watch Marc Guiu play, he puts in a lot of effort. He's always running around, always trying to get on the ball. And I think potentially we kind of need someone this weekend against Forest. One of my big concerns about this game is that Murillo, Milinkovic, they're such big centre-backs and we don't really have any kind of box presence. Yes, we've got players that can run in behind. Yes, Neto could do that, but we're playing against a Forest team that basically camp out in their own half of the pitch. What do we know about Chelsea? We bloody hate teams that camp out in their half of the pitch. So in terms of like preparation for this one, it's probably the worst team that we could have played who are any good away from home on the final day of the season, particularly when their stadium, their fans are going to be so up for this. This is their biggest match of football in 20 plus years, Nottingham Forest. It's absolutely huge, both for them and for Chelsea. And Marc Guiu being back, I don't think I would start him, but I certainly would be happy if he was on the bench and can come on and just be a nuisance and try and make something happen. Because what Chelsea are going to need to do in this Forest game is create space. We're going to have to somehow find spaces when we're not going to be gifted anything. And I think that is where we struggle the most. And look, I want to talk a little bit here about what pundits are saying right now. Because Chelsea, no one is thinking Chelsea are going to win this. And I don't know if that's like pundits trying to wind up Chelsea fans because they know that we're going to bite. Or I think they might have a point. Do you know what I mean? I, for one, actually do believe we're going to turn up for this. If you can't show up for this game, then bloody hell, you deserve to be playing in the Conference League next season or Europa League or whatever it could be. We still might end up in the bloody Conference League. Check out yesterday's video, by the way, where we look at the table, we break all the fixtures down. It's fascinating. But I do think Chelsea this weekend, we're going to need... Everybody's got to show up here. There can't be any, we tried. It's do or die. It's make or break. It's bust regardless. Do you know what I mean? This is either going to make this season great or it's not. Marc Guiu being back, do I think he should start, having been out for 3 months? I'm going to say no, but it would be such a fascinating story, wouldn't it? If he actually did make the difference. When we talked all season about Nicholas Jackson not being good enough, we want Osimhen, we want Gyökeres, we want Isak, we want a top striker. And then it would be the £5 million signing with the team that spent 1.7 billion quid. It would be the £5 million signing that makes a difference. It's a wonderful idea, wonderful story. Will it happen? Let's see. But hopefully he'll be back and ready and can start the game against Real Betis because he scored 5 goals in the Conference League. So if he's fit, then I believe he should start in that game. The final story of the day. I don't really know what I think about this, to be quite honest. Enzo Fernandez is set to join Real Madrid, and the announcement is expected after the Club World Cup. It isn't a source that is too highly renowned, but I do want to talk about it purely from a entertain the idea, debate it, and look at Fernandez this season perspective, because I was going to make an entire video about Enzo Fernandez, because if you take a look at his numbers, right? The numbers this season are very good. 6 goals, 7 assists in 35 league games. He's pretty much always fit, although he's playing currently with an illness, I believe. When you scroll down here, 6 assists in the Conference League too. Not that it's that difficult, but when you look at these numbers for Enzo Fernandez, non-penalty XG and expected assists, he's in the top 4%. Shot creating actions, 4.6 per 90 minutes. Assists, he's right up there. Touches in the attacking penalty area, he's up there. Progressive passes received and carries and passes. Basically, with all of these numbers here, progressive passes received, progressive passes and carries, it shows the industry of Enzo Fernandez. It shows how hard he works. Quite often, it flatters to deceive. Because I think something that Enzo Fernandez can't be criticised for is the amount of effort he puts in on the pitch. But sometimes, in a very physical league like the Premier League, sometimes it's so clear that physically, he might not be up to the standards that you would want. And obviously Chelsea are lucky in that sense where we got Moises Caicedo. But if you take a look at these, interceptions, not really known for that. Clearances, tackles, blocks, not the highest. And obviously, in this Chelsea team, that isn't what Enzo Fernandez is expected to do. But too often, this is why it's a weird one to talk about. Because so often I'm like, I need more from Enzo there. We need him to not get out-muscled in the middle. We're getting ran through in the middle of the pitch. That's happened a few times this season for Chelsea. Granted, defensively, we've looked really good. But the whole concept of Enzo Fernandez going to Real Madrid, I'm not sure if we've got enough players, even in the squad right now, that I can say are going to be able to replace these numbers next season. Yes, he's getting paid a lot of money. If Chelsea were to make money on Enzo Fernandez, he was supposed to be the poster boy. He's over all of the new kits and all of that stuff. He supposedly loves being in London. Do I actually think this is going to happen? No. I think if Real Madrid are going to sign someone this summer, I don't think Enzo Fernandez is the needle mover for them, necessarily. I don't think they need him in that midfield, do they? They got flipping Jude Bellingham. They got Tchouaméni, who's always going to be a good player. Like, it's his time to shine. Valverde in the middle. Xabi Alonso coming in. Yes, Enzo Fernandez. I think he's had a great season. I think I've outlined why throughout this video. Like, sometimes I just do want a lot more, but there's no denying that these numbers are absolutely brilliant. And I think if you take players that shot creating actions to be in the top 4%, this stat right here, that is massive for Chelsea Football Club. And I think if you were to add an elite clinical marksman, an elite goal scorer to this team, then these numbers from Enzo Fernandez, they could double next season. If we think that's good, 6 goals, 7 assists now. If Chelsea sign an Osimhen, if Chelsea sign a Gyökeres, an Isak, top level striker, or even just someone better than Nicholas Jackson, to be quite honest, I think Enzo Fernandez next season will be where everybody is like, you know what? That is a £100 million player. That's my prediction. I don't want Chelsea to sell Enzo Fernandez. I think the numbers are good. I think the signs and omens are good going forward with the improvements of Caicedo, with Andre Santos, a player that's got double-figure goals for Strasbourg this season. I think he is going to be a top footballer for Chelsea Football Club, which could also be why Chelsea might look at a massive offer from Real Madrid if this is in fact to happen. I don't think this is going to happen, but if it does, then we've got Santos coming in this summer. That could be a big transfer fee that Chelsea might not be able to turn down. And I think we've seen it with Trent Alexander-Arnold, a Liverpool going to Real Madrid. When Real Madrid knock on the door, I hate this because obviously I want Chelsea to be the final destination that players look at and want to stay at. But when Real Madrid do come knocking, it is very difficult for players and the money that they offer. It's very hard to say no. But if it was me, I'd be keeping this man at Chelsea Football Club next season. I think he's had a really, really good season. If you look at the comparable players, Bruno, Odegaard, I think he's had a bad season. If you compare his numbers to Martin Odegaard, 2 goals, 8 assists. I mean, yeah, these numbers are also pretty good when it comes to carries and stuff. But I'd say Enzo Fernandez had a way better season than Martin Odegaard, personally. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Is Marc Guiu the starting striker for Nottingham Forest? And would you want Anthony Gordon? I'm not really moved by this. Bring me Nico Williams, please. And, of course, bring me Victor Osimhen. Wouldn't be a GBFC video without saying that, would it? Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you are new. Check out the link to more GBFC in the description down below. And I will catch you guys later.